Hello, I'm David Chatowsky, and this is Painting Time. Thank you very much for joining us. Today, we are going to be painting a red-tailed hawk on an American horse chestnut tree. To start this painting, I am going to sketch it out and with paint. And first, I'm going to start off with a vertical line just like this. Okay? Then I'm going to start with the top of the hawk's head, and I'm going to come down like that. That's going to, and this line that I'm doing, this is called the contour line. It's the line that goes around the object. That's going to be the top of the hawk's head, and we're going to come down, and it's going to be his back and his shoulders, and then come into this area, and then this will come in like this. Then we'll come down, do a little bit into the detail of the hawk, and this would be the hawk's chest like this, and it curves around like that, and then this is actually will be the back of the wings like that, and then this will be the very tip of the wings like that, and then you're going to have the unmistakable red tail of the red-tailed hawk. I came up with this idea for this composition on Christmas Day when I was driving through Providence, and I saw these gorgeous trees in Providence, and I was wondering, well, actually, the first thing I saw was a red-tailed hawk on a light pole, and I was right in the overlooking this small area of grass, and then right behind him were these trees, and I was wondering, the trees were so magnificent. The bark on them was so stunning, and the summer light was, summer light. It was winter. The winter light was so beautiful, as you know. It was actually 2 o'clock, and it was just this real brown golden color. Anyway, so here. So I just went in and did did his eye, this is some detail on the hawk, and then you come down and you do with the shoulder of the hawk, and it goes like this. The hawk's wing is going to come in like this, and go do something like that. All right, and then go into these longer feathers here, and then like that. So we're going to come over here and we're going to put in, maybe this tree has a little bit, another branch right here, and because it is an American chestnut tree and it is winter, it has one leaf just like that, and then it has the chestnuts right here, and this is and I'm going to do that down here too. I'm going to do like a leaf down like that and down like that, and then put some horse chestnuts like this, and this. All right, so there we have the beginnings of the red-tailed hawk and the American horse chestnut tree, and I'm just going to put in some little bit of bark like this, you know. Okay. The red-tailed hawk you can see on the side of the road. Typically, they'll be up on telephone poles and up on trees overlooking the highway. Now, behind the red-tailed hawk, I am going to draw a building, and I'm going to start this, and I'm going to go across like this, and then I'm going to go down like this. All right? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start like that. And then I'm going to follow suit with that. I'm going to do that like this, over like that, and down like that. This is going to be this is the start of a building. And then I'm going to go right across the top like this with a horizontal line right there. And then that will be peak. Actually, that would be. Now I'm going to put a triangle in just like that. So, and then this comes over here like this. Okay, and then this comes over so a little bit like that. I come down with a vertical line like this. This needs to go over. That's a little bit too low. See that? You don't have to worry about if you do make these mistakes, because you are painting in acrylic, and this is the sketch. So as we're doing the sketch, this is where you want to do all that you can to get the painting correct before you start to paint. So this line comes down like this and goes over here to here to here, and then that line continues on the same principle. It'll just keep going down like this. We carry that over. This, when I was going through Providence, I saw the hawk and I saw the American chestnut tree, and then I saw this absolutely stunningly beautiful cathedral behind it, and I was just absolutely amazed at this. It's a Romanesque cathedral located right behind the hawk, and the sun was hitting it, and I was just so impressed with the entire composition that I definitely wanted to paint it. And so I did some research. The name of the cathedral is the Cathedral of St. Peter's and Paul, and it was constructed in originally it was designed. The idea was designed in 1873, and it was finished in 1889. And it's of Connecticut Brownstone. So okay, it's got 3 windows right here like this. It's got a little window right here, little one. Now, as I talked about before in my paintings, shows that there is what I call resistance to the artist and to creating artistic works, and so you do want to be when you're setting up, you do want to be accurate, but you also want to continue to move, and for the sake of getting over the resistance. So we have that, and then I'm going to lighten this up just a little bit. I'm just going to lighten this up just to here because I want to very vaguely, just a hint, I want to put in, okay, these clouds. And the way I have them shaped, I want them to kind of go back into space. I just want to put the clouds like this. Maybe there's one more like right there. And they'll come out at the viewer. So here we have the layout, and this will, all right, so now we have the sketch of the painting done, and we're going to go with a larger brush, and we're going to paint. I'm going to start with the tree, the American chestnut tree. I'm going to add a little black to white and some burnt sienna, and I'm going to paint this tree in. Okay. Now, as I told you before, I add a little bit of water, and I like to keep moving. I don't want to think too much about, at this stage, I don't want to think too much about the particulars because I want to cover the canvas as much. It's a very large canvas, and I want to cover as much of it as I can. So this cathedral, I got to see when I was a child. My mother took us kids there, and she said that when returning from the cathedral that the police pulled her over, and I had come from a big family, and the policeman was telling my mother to slow down, and the van was all full of kids, and I happened to be the baby. I was crying, and he gave my mother a break because the van was so full of kids, but that's my relationship to that. So here we have, I just put this American chestnut tree in, I'm coloring it in with the paint. I'm going to add some little white for this bark. See this, with the trees in the background, you don't need to get hypersensitive at this point, or you just want to get the paint on the canvas. Like that. American, you can't. It's not like the American horse chestnut tree is not a nut that we actually we eat. You can see it. It's got beautiful flowers in the spring, and it is quite a stately tree. And they're located right along the side of I-95. And then I did add a little bit of dark to this as I go like that, because I wanted to, as you go back down as you go down into space, there's going to be a little bit of shadow there on that tree. All right. So there we have that. For example, as you have the branch of the tree, and you want to kind of add just a little bit of dark like that. Now let's paint this hawk. Now, with the hawk, I added just a little bit of like yellow ochre and some bronze and some burnt sienna. All right, and I get a buff color And this is the color that I'm going to paint the hawk's chest, is buff. It's kind of like a light, oops, like that. And I'm going to carry some of that into the face of the hawk there. And we can lighten that up a little bit. I'm going to carry this color. I like this color. So I'm going to carry this into the hawk's legs and into his packed foot and into his talons there, right? Now, the red-tailed hawk has an unmistakable red tail. And I'm just going to make it's a russet red. That's an adult hawk. All right. His wings, I have to grab some brown here. All right, I grabbed a little burnt sienna. And I'm going to paint his back. Bring in this for his wings. Up into his head like this. Darken it just a tad. Go over into the head of the hawk like that. And like I said, you can see these hawks. It's a very common hawk here in New England, hunting along the side of the highways. And then we want to get into his back, so I'm going to just very, very loosely paint the feathers down into his back like that. Darken this up a little bit into the end of what is called the primary feathers of the hawk. Just darken that a little bit like that, and lighten up the face here. And let's give this hawk a beautiful pupil here. Hawks mean business, and what's so beautiful about the hawks is that they keep the rodent population in check. So the hawks are out there doing great stuff for us. You'll see them, they're managing the side of the highways there. Now the red tail, obviously like the name says, does have a red tail. That's typically a sign of the adult. The juveniles won't necessarily have a red tail. They're a big bird. They're a little bit bigger than they're a little bit bigger than a crow, and just going to darken its bill just a little bit because that's underneath, and then I'll just lighten this up like that a little bit, and we'll just clean up this hawk. At this stage of the game, you want to, you don't want to focus on getting everything perfect. You know, you want to get the composition. I want to get some horse chestnuts in here, like this. here, and I think I had another one up here like this, and then this is winter, so these leaves are brown like this, these leaves are brown like this, okay, and then what, I want to come over here and get this one here, and get this one here like this, and this just marks the leaves, and you're going to come back and craft them later. These are the leaves of winter, and I want to kind of extend that branch, or extend this branch just a little bit like this. Okay, then we can go into the cathedral here. Start with the roof of the cathedral. Again, this is the Cathedral of St. Peter and Paul, located on 30 Fenner Avenue in Providence, and it was finished in 1889, and Bishop Hendricken led the charge to get the funds for this cathedral. Oops. I just want to extend that roof line over there like that. And this composition came to me on Christmas Day as I was driving through Providence. I looked and I saw the most incredible. I started by seeing the red-tailed hawk to begin with, and then then I got led into these trees here, and then behind it was this amazing cathedral, and the cathedral is built with Connecticut Brownstone, which is when the winter sunlight hit it, was absolutely gorgeous. So this was 2 o'clock on Christmas Day. So this is going to be a December scene, and these are the towers. It has 2 towers and 4 bells right there, and like that. Come back and paint that little circle in later. The thing about it is not to, the most important thing that I find when doing this is the most important thing I find to doing this is to do it. Not to hem and haw about what you're doing. If you make a mistake, mistakes can get you from A to B. They can move you along. You know, there's this one saying: if you do something, even if it's wrong, you know. And that's the thing with artists art is like we have to overcome these obstacles. And I'm not going to paint around those windows. I know they're there. I'm just going to paint right over them, and then I will come back and paint them, but I'm not going to paint over them. These windows are a little bit different because that's part of the architecture. I mean, they're a little bigger, so I don't have to worry too about. And that roof line this roof line is going to go here. You want to follow, like take my brush like this, turn it horizontal like that, and go just like that. Those roof lines have to line up. And then this is going to come down like this. All right, we're just blocking this in. Last but not least, we're going to very, very, very lightly put in this sky. It's a winter sky, and I'm just going to I'm going to work around these clouds. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work around the clouds. The clouds are going to be my guide. There's a little one right there, and this one's coming in right here. Just let me just couple little clouds like that. I'm going to build off that, and that helps me get over, get over this white. So much white here, and not to be intimidated by the size of the canvas, and just to move right along. Well, I finished the painting, and how I did that was I really focused in on starting off with this American Horse Chestnut tree, the bark of it, and making that all fit together like a glove. And then I strengthened both parts of the composite of the tree limbs as it goes out, and worked on the red tail. And I strengthened the russet red of the adult red tail hawk, and I went into the strengthening the leaves and the branches of the horse chestnut tree. The inspiration of this painting came on Christmas Day as I was driving by Providence, Rhode Island on I-95. I saw the red tail, and then my eye caught the tree behind it, which was the American Horse Chestnut, and I was very, very fascinated with the bark. And then right behind that was the most gorgeous building, in the winter light was hitting it, and it was the Cathedral of Saints Peter and Paul, located right in downtown Providence. And I thought that would be an amazing composition. And so I went and set, and what you saw was the mechanics of how I set the composition up with painting and drawing with the paint, setting all this, and then I went through and painted it, and I worked on these sun rays to give it a very ethereal feeling, almost a spiritual feeling to this painting. And the cathedral and the hawk is cloaked. These hawks are very beneficial to us because they keep the rodent populations down, and so they're very, very helpful to have around. The darker blue fades down into like a periwinkle here, and that brings the depth. The clouds, I brought in a little bit of peach into the clouds and a little bit of dark sienna brown, and just a little bit mixed with white and toned down a little bit, and to balance off the cathedral and this the peach building here, right here. And this I set this composition up as the tree and the architecture being balanced out with the sky and the clouds. Now this red tail, as being adult, has its mate right here, and the wings are open, and that brings the viewer into the painting and closer into the sun to give it that ethereal feeling. Paintings, as the viewer views it, it views your paintings, they're not only seen as a painting, but there's also a feeling which is that emanates out of the painting itself. And so that's by setting that up and bringing in the light rays and the subject matter. I really wanted to create that feeling that I felt on Christmas Day as I was driving through Providence and seeing this beautiful scene on that, even though it was cold, on that warm winter light, cloaked in that warm winter light. And I want to thank you, as always, for joining me, David Chatowsky, in here in Painting Time. And I hope to see you again when we paint a adult bald eagle flying over St. Anne's Cathedral in Fall River, Massachusetts. Thank you very much.